This is going to be my second video update for the day, and I want to do a follow-up this afternoon in Athens, Greece, and I wanted to do a follow-up with regards to my morning video post, which had to deal with the EU Commission vote to try and get an oil embargo on Russia. I also want to do a follow-up on a plan by Russia to pay for the debt, the bondholders, the debt that they have with bondholders. And this is an interesting plan that the Russians have put together. They're kind of trolling the West in a way as well, but I'll get to that story. And what other stories do I want to cover in this video? We have a whole bunch of like little stories to talk about. A follow-up on Sri Lanka. I've talked about Sri Lanka in past videos, and this has to do with Russia coming to Sri Lanka's aid, and also the fact that the support for Ukraine in the United States with regards to, say, conservative Americans, even Rhino think tanks and American patriots, the MAGA movement, kind of this whole sector in the United States, support for the Ukraine war and the spending in Ukraine is absolutely crumbling. I would actually say that it's already crumbled. So I want to kind of touch on that as well. And then we have a really, really funny clown world, which has to deal with Vladimir Putin. And 3-4 people sent me this story, and it is absolutely hilarious. So what we're going to do is we're going to take about a 25 minute walk. We're going to start from downtown Athens. The Olympic Stadium is that way. And we're going to walk a little bit through the Zapio Park. We'll walk through the National Gardens, and we'll make it all the way to Sindangma Square. We'll see if we get to Sindangma Square by the time this video is wrapped up. And then I'm going to go to a coffee shop that I know in Sindangma that has really fast internet. And I'm going to edit this video, grab me a coffee, maybe a burger, and we'll... Actually, I'm going to upload a bunch of videos and we'll call it a day. So let's get walking, and let me strap on my backpack here and let's get moving, and let's talk about what happened today at the EU headquarters in Brussels. So Ursula von der Crazy, she's pushing for the oil embargo, and she had a meeting with the EU ambassadors. And actually, I just wrapped up a video with Alexander on the Duran main channel touching on this story. And they had the meeting, and they could not get an embargo approved. They couldn't cobble something together. The plan is still for an embargo, a Russian oil embargo, to have a waiver for the Druzhba pipeline to Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia, etc. So they want to have a waiver for this pipeline so that they can get Hungary on board, and to provide 6 to 8 months of space for EU countries to deal with an eventual embargo of Russian oil via tanker, via sea. So that's the plan that they're putting in place, that they can try to announce that they've got an embargo, so they can get those media talking points out there. But they couldn't get consensus. One interesting thing that I learned today that Alexander pointed out is during this EU Commission meeting, where you have these EU ambassadors voting on these initiatives, Alexander noted that in this meeting of ambassadors, the United States also has a seat in this commissioners meeting, which I did not know. They also get to observe what's going on. I'm sure the United States exerts a lot more influence and leverage at those meetings than just observing. But either way, it did not work out for Ursula just yet, but they're going to give it another try, I believe, this evening and tomorrow as well. And they're going to have an EU Council meeting, and that's going to be chaired by Michel. And he is going to put together a virtual, like a Zoom virtual video meeting with the heads of states for EU countries. At least this is what I've gathered. And they're going to try and once again get this. Let's actually go this way. get this oil embargo, at least something, get it put together, something that they can just announce. But you know, in the first video that I did this morning, the comments with regards to Ursula von der Leyen's interview with Mika on MSNBC, the comments were absolutely fantastic. One of the commenters actually called Ursula von der Leyen's economic outlook as Leyenomics. Ursula von der Leyenomics, which I thought was brilliant. Forget about Keynesian economics, forget about the Austrian school. What you have is Ursula von der Leyenomics. And the way von der Leyen understands economics, it's that, you know, if you want to hurt your competitor, well, then you have to buy more of their stuff. That's the economics that she knows. Actually, you know what? I even wrote down the first rule of Ursula von der Leyenomics. And I want to read you the first rule of her economic theory, which I'm sure is going to be studied across universities throughout the world. She may even get a Nobel Prize for economics with this theory. So the first rule of Leyenomics is that in order to damage the economy or profits of your competitor, buy as much of that competitor's products and or services, thereby preventing them from selling those products or services on world markets for higher prices. That is the first rule of Leyenomics. Let's buy as much Russian oil as we can to make sure that Russia does not sell that oil to other markets at a higher price, thus making sure that Putin does not make more money for his war machine. Leyenomics, everybody. It's an upside down world. Russia is making sure that their oil is sold all over the world, and one place that they're delivering oil is to Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka, they've had a lot of problems with. They've had political upheaval. They've had parties fighting amongst themselves with regards to some of the economic difficulties that they've had, and they've had shortages and fuel prices and energy disruptions, and they need help. And so who is going to be helping Sri Lanka? It's going to be Russia. And Russia is going to be delivering oil as well as other petroleum products to Sri Lanka. And so the sanctions are really hurting Russia, so much so that that Russia is delivering their oil all over the world, including to Sri Lanka. And even France 24, a publication, a website that absolutely despises Putin and Russia, they are saying that they are admitting that cash-strapped Sri Lanka is going to get Russian oil to ease shortages. And they're getting all kinds of stuff from Russia as well. I mean, just all kinds of commodities and goods and services, and it's going to save them. It's going to make a big difference for Sri Lanka. So chalk up another win for Russia. And it looks like Ursula von der Leyen's economic philosophy is not working because Russia is selling their oil on the world market. So that's not too good for her economic theory. Anyway, so that's the first story I wanted to get out, which has to deal with an update with regards to this EU Commission meeting. We'll see by tonight or tomorrow if they do manage to cobble something together to announce some sort of oil embargo. But, resistance is coming from Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia. They're not as vocal. Italy is resisting. It's not as vocal as Hungary. And I'm sure a lot of EU countries are not too keen on getting an oil embargo put in place. That's for damn sure. But there are some crazies like Ursula von der Crazy and Habeck and Annalena Baerbock and the Baltic states, Poland. They want an embargo really, really bad. So I think at the end of the day, they'll eventually get something because they're going to keep on trying. So they will eventually get some sort of an embargo announced. What it will be, who knows? But they're dead set on trying to put something in place. So the next story that I think is interesting to talk about is another follow-up, and it has to do with the bondholders, the U.S. bondholders, and how the waiver, the Biden waiver that he put into place because of sanctions for Russia to pay those bondholders, how that waiver has been canceled. And the Biden White House, it was actually canceled on May 25th, and the Biden White House was preparing the announcements for a Russian default. In other words, the Russians will not be able to make payments on bondholders, and thus they are going to be in default of those debt payments. The Russian government, they said, we've got enough money, we can easily pay them, but you've now canceled the waiver and we have no way to pay them now. There's no loophole anymore to get our foreign reserves to our foreign currency to these bondholders. So it's not really a default, it's more force majeure. And that was the argument from the Russian side of things. And the Russian side of things also said, and this is the interesting part, they also said, you know what, because the Biden White House, they've canceled the waiver and they won't allow us now to pay those bondholders in foreign currencies. Well, we could easily pay them in rubles. And the problem for the bondholders is, how do you get those rubles? How do you get rubles into your hands? And well, the Russian government may have found a solution. And this is a very clever setup, very clever setup. So the bondholders, no doubt, the U.S. bondholders are going to take the Biden White House to court, no doubt about it, because they're going to say, you know what, the Russian government can easily pay us, but you guys don't allow them to pay us, so someone's going to have to pay, and it's going to be the Biden White House. So they're definitely going to take the Biden White House to court, and I imagine they're going to win. But in the meantime, the Russian government is saying, you know what, we can pay you in rubles. And because getting rubles, using rubles and actually having them is kind of difficult for U.S. bondholders, what we will do is we will do a reverse scheme, very much like gas for rubles. In other words, the same scheme that they're using for gas for rubles, they're going to reverse it. And this is so clever. This gas for rubles setup, I mean, this thing is just pretty awesome. It has a lot of different applications. And what they're going to do, or what the Russian government is proposing to do, is to say this to the bondholders: open up an account as a U.S. bondholder, open up an account at Gazprom Bank, one account in rubles, and open up a second account in foreign currency. What we will do is we will pay the debt in rubles to the one account. Then we will exchange those rubles into the foreign currency of your choice, which will go into the second account. And then you can take out that foreign currency and, use it as you wish. And that's the setup. That's the plan. Reverse gas for rubles. And that is how they are proposing to pay the bondholders, which is very, very clever. The one question that I have is, if those bondholders can open up those two accounts, I just don't understand why the Russians then just don't pay the bondholders into an account with foreign reserves just straight away, instead of rubles and then rubles to foreign reserves. There must be something in place, some sort of sanction or something in place that doesn't allow that. I'm not quite sure why they're doing it in that type of way, but we'll see. Let's give it some more time and see what more information we have with regards to this story and to this scheme, because it's just coming out there that this is the plan that the Russian finance minister is proposing to the bondholders. I personally think that this plan being floated is just more, it's kind of like more ammunition for the Russian government to use in order to strengthen their case for force majeure. In other words, they're now proposing different types of schemes so that when the time comes and and the bondholders do take the Biden White House to court and they do litigate, they'll be able to say, look, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways that Russia proposed to pay us, and you guys cut us off at the knees with each possible scenario. So I think that Russia is just coming up with this reverse, like gas for ruble thing to pay the bondholders as a way to make it difficult for the Biden White House when litigation does come. So we'll see what'll happen there. My God, it's just crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy stuff. But this bond for rubles, gas for rubles, oil for rubles, this this scheme is pretty flexible. It can be used for a lot of stuff. Now let's talk a little bit about the narrative that is crumbling in conservative America, MAGA America, maybe even Rhino America, Republicans in name only America as well. Either way, it looks like there is a major shift in support for this Ukraine project, especially the spending side of things. And the Heritage Foundation, which is, from what I understand, it's a pretty big, if not the biggest conservative think tank, is if you can call them conservative. I think they're more neocon warmongers, because from the research that I did with regards to the Heritage Foundation, I didn't find a war that they did not support. But in this instance, they are not in support of the Ukraine project, I think for 2 reasons. They're not in support of the Ukraine project because, number one, they, and this is recent, they've come out with this recently, they're not in support because they know that Ukraine is lost big time. They know the Russians are winning in a big way. And so it's hopeless to support a losing endeavor. And the polling numbers show that Americans, they don't want any part of this. And so as we get closer to midterms, the Heritage Foundation is saying, you know what? And the Republicans aligned with the Heritage Foundation are saying, this is not a winning issue to be supporting. And so they're pulling back, and they're pulling back in a big way. And I'm gonna need to cross here. It's a bit windy. And what did I want to say? Trump Jr. Once I cross the street, we'll talk about Trump Jr. because he came out with a comment as well. And he was poking fun at the narrative shift that is taking place in Ukraine. By the way, we have, let me do some quick news on the ground before I talk about Trump. Raytheon just inked a very big deal to produce more Stinger man pads, 650 million. They just signed a contract to produce more Stingers. They'll have those ready by like 2026, 27. Right now, they can't produce the Stingers because of all kinds of parts shortages. So that news was pretty interesting. And we also have the news, though I can't confirm it, of some sort of missile strike. Let me cross here. I don't want to get hit by the tram. That would be pretty bad. Or the bus, not the tram, the bus. Either way, getting hit by a bus or a tram would not be a good thing. So we also have the news of this attack in the south of a South Ukraine operations center. It was called the Novi. I'm trying to remember the Novi Bug, which is a weird name, something like that. And supposedly the Russian military, they took out this Southern Command Center, and 37 officers were killed, including 3 generals. I can't confirm that, but I think it's spot on, but I don't want to say it's 100%. I don't want to say that. So let's go back to Trump Jr. and the collapsing narrative of the conflict in Ukraine. And so Trump Jr. came out with a tweet, and this is a great tweet. He was responding to a Bloomberg article. Once again, more Ukraine truth that is coming out. And Bloomberg also said pretty much that Zelensky is losing and the Ukraine military is collapsing. the 40 billion is just going to be sucked up by NGOs and think tanks, and very little of it is going to actually help the Ukraine army fight the Russians. And Donald Trump Jr. responds to that news with the following tweet. He says this. He says, "I was told the Ukrainians were kicking their asses. Wait, was that all just a lie to push a political and emotional narrative? How much more needless and senseless death occurred because of it?" Now that's coming from Trump Jr. I did a story in the morning about The Guardian and how they're trying to pin what's going on in Ukraine on Trump and on the Don, and now you have Trump Jr. coming out and saying that the mainstream media and the collective West, the Democrats, the neoliberals, the neocons, all the warmongers, they were just pushing lies. And that's significant for Donald Trump Jr. to say that. So the narrative is definitely crumbling. And let me see, do I have any more stories here? Dangerous stuff in Greece, walking around Greece. Let's see here. Now, let's get to the clown world. Oh, there's one more update. Here's an update before I get to the clown world. Once again, another update on Iran and Greece with the seizing of those oil tankers. The Iran Revolutionary Guard has come out with a statement telling Greece, you know what? We've seized 2 oil tankers, but we may seize some more. We may take some more oil tankers. So just keep that in mind. Now you have the Iran Revolutionary Guard. They're trolling the Greeks, and they're telling the Greeks to look out. They may be seizing some more tankers. So Greece seizes 1 tanker. They decide to give the oil to the United States, and Iran seizes 2 Greek oil tankers, and they're going to probably seize some more as well. So not a very smart, good move for the Mitsotakis government, was it? Now we have our clown world. I am at my destination, Sindagma Square, a very noisy Sindagma Square, and the clown world. I got like 4 emails with this clown world, and even Robert Barnes sent me this story as well, and it's pretty funny, and it comes from the Sun, the UK's Sun, and the title reads, "Vladimir Putin may already be dead, with body double taking his place at public appearances, an MI6 chief claims." Oh my God. Clown world. Do I even need to get into this article? So basically this MI6 agent, I wonder if it's Christopher Steele. Was Christopher Steele MI6 or MI5? Anyway, this MI6 agent is making the claims that Putin has already died and they've got a body double in his place. This is just pure projection, because I wouldn't be surprised if this is what's actually going on with Sleepy Joe. I would not be surprised if the real body double is Joe Biden. But yeah, British intelligence officials said the Russian tyrant's cronies would have to keep his death a secret from the world for weeks or even months. Oh my God. They're saying that Putin's health has long been the source of speculation, and Moscow has remained, I gotta be careful as I'm walking, tight-lipped, as over the past few years, insisting Vlad's health is excellent. The Sun. How low can you go, Sun? Man, what a doozy of a story. So yeah, it's a Putin body double, everybody. You know, to be quite honest, the body double is doing a pretty good job running Russia, if that's the case. If this really is not Vladimir Putin and it's a body double, well, this body double may be even better than Putin. guy's like winning on all fronts. He's winning the war. He's winning the economic war. He's winning the media war now. I mean, this body double is a new and improved version of Putin. Oh boy. Oh my God. Yeah, so that's the cloud world story, everybody. I'm gonna sign out for this second video update. I hope you enjoyed the walk. Here we are in Sidangma. It's noisy. There's a lot of people. It's early evening, so I think people are out and about to meet up with friends, grab a coffee, do some shopping. The usual things. All right, theduran.locals.com. Take care.